IVM.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. This is episode number 172, and you are tuned into the 23rd perspective or life hack or life lesson that I've been sharing with you in this particular A to Z series of finding your life purpose. In episode 162, where I spoke about leaving a legacy and how that was tied to your life purpose, I asked you a question. I asked you to think about what would you want your life purpose to be. Well, that's what I'm talking about in this episode, a little more in detail. A lot of times, the question in our head is what should my life purpose be? What could my life purpose be? What can my life purpose be? But I want you to think about what would you want your life purpose to be? So if I gave you a magic wand and you could choose anything as your life purpose, what would you choose? Now, why is it important to think about this from this kind of an angle? Because technically, or at least what we've been made to believe, is that your life purpose or the purpose of your existence is something that has already been chosen or decided by your soul or the universe. We often talk about it as if there's a power beyond us who or that has picked a particular path for us. It has already been chosen. For some of us, it's also about our soul having chosen it. However, whether someone else chose it or you chose it once upon a time, I want you to step out of that energy for a second and just think about this. That if I placed the power to choose right now in your hands, what would you choose as your life purpose? I'm going to give you the same question from a different angle. See if that brings up some answers. Because when you ask yourself, what do I want my life purpose to be? I'm sure that a lot of y'all are instinctively replying with, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I mean, wait, what do you mean? I can choose? So I know that I have created some kind of confusion within all of y'all right now just by putting this question out. So I'm going to try and give this to you from a different angle. You need to think about the potential that you hold, which means you need to have that list that you have made thanks to one of the previous episodes about all your strengths. Then you need to have the list of your preferences, what you are okay with and what you are not okay with. Then you need to also have a sense of what is the point of finding your life purpose? What is it supposed to do for you? So things I spoke about again in episode 162, which was about legacy. And I've also spoken about it in the episode that I called money and the episode that was titled Not All About You. Right? So go revisit these 2-3 episodes before you try to answer this question, because you're going to need a proper understanding of yourself in order to understand what is the potential that you hold. Now, as an example, I'm a life coach and an alternative healing practitioner, which means in terms of skills, I'm somebody who is very good at solving problems. I'm somebody who has high levels of empathy. I'm able to look at people's issues from different angles, so I have perspective. And I'm able to come up with solutions. These are my skills, thanks to the job I do and also thanks to a part of my nature. Then let's come to preferences and things that I'm not okay with. I'm not okay with doing things where I have to wake up early in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I'm not okay with things that will possibly require me to work long hours. I'm not okay with working on PowerPoints. I'm not okay with, okay, well, I think I've got a bunch of I'm not okay with. Let me try what I'm okay with. I'm okay with working long hours or doing things that require time. I'm okay with things that require me to meet people. I like things that involve writing. I'm good at it. I like things that involve being creative in terms of thinking, creative ideas, coming up with ideas. I'm okay with people relying on me. In fact, I like that. What else? So I have a short list of my skills or my strengths. I have a short list of my preferences. Let me also think about circumstances, right? So one is capabilities, the other is capacity. My current situation, my current circumstance allows me to travel and do things from different places. I don't have anyone that I'm really answerable to, so I'm free to take my own decisions. My current work life, my current personal life, the way things are set in my day to day life, I seem to have time on my hands. So there is capacity to do a lot of things. Now, these are the circumstantial pieces, right? So if you've been listening in and following, you may have realized that I have put down a short list of my skills and strengths, as well as a short list of my preferences. Now, these two, my skills, my strengths, my preferences, rather these three, they give me a sense of my capabilities, as well as a bit about my capacity. My preferences will define my capacity, right? Similarly, add your external circumstances to it as well, and you will have a clearer idea of your capacity. When you take your capabilities and your capacity together, you are looking at the potential that you hold. So now I'm asking you this question, that what would you like to do with the potential that you hold? Now, maybe I come up with an answer saying I want to live in Goa and do my sessions from the beach. Maybe this answer that I come up with is that much, right? My next question to myself would be, would that help me live a purposeful life? Now understand this. The question that I asked was not whether that would be my life purpose. The question I asked was, would that let me live a purposeful life? So once you identify your potential, you take your capabilities and your capacity and put it together and see what you are holding in your hands, holding within you and around you. And you ask yourself, what would I like to do with this potential? You will start getting some random thoughts and random answers. Don't judge them. Don't try to question them. Just put it down. And then ask yourself, look at those things that you have put down and ask yourself. Now, when you look at those thoughts and ideas that you have put down, try and answer this question. Do any of these thoughts and ideas allow you to live a purposeful life? I often think that it isn't about finding out what your life purpose is, but rather it is about living a purposeful life. And that is why the questions that I have asked you today are, what would you want your purpose to be? What would you like to do with the potential that you hold? And can you define what living a purposeful life for you would be like? Well, on this note, I'm going to head out of here. And all the previous episodes that I have spoken about are available on the IBM app and the IBM website. If you would like to connect with us, our handle on Instagram and Twitter is IBM Podcasts. And if you need further clarification on what is your life purpose versus living a purposeful life, what's the difference between those? Well, DM me on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Siet Tires and the Whole Truth Foods. We really appreciate your support. So, on Cyrus Says, Sagarika Ghosh, journalist, columnist, author, discusses books she has written, her experiences from reporting about the Babri Masjid demolition back in the day, and the upcoming state election. Cyrus also had a great episode with Devdutt Patnaik last week. Do check that out. Chuck narrates an interesting story about a company that shared its virtual expertise with other companies and empowered the virtual world. No, we're not going to tell you what the brand is, but go check out The Origin of Things. And Chuck also came back on Simplified this week from episode 200 onwards. He's back. Go check that out if you haven't had a chance to do so far. The habit coach Ashton was joined by Sapna Gopalkrishnan, his co-trekker on Mount Kilimanjaro. They recollect the trek's memories and Sapna talks about the challenges she faced. On All Things Policy, Rachit Sheth talks to Sarthak Pradhan about Delhi's water crisis. This is due to the pollution of its major water source, the river Yamuna, and he discusses the case against the state of Haryana. We had Manish Dangi, Chief Investment Officer of the Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund on Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. They discussed India's financial report card with reference to the past decade, the hits and misses, and what the future of investing is going to look like. And with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Want to learn something new and have a few minutes to spare? Well, then go for the Traveling Professor's Diary, where I, Siddharth Deshmukh, the Traveling Professor, will help you glean from all the insights that I've gained from wherever I've traveled, learned, taught, and repeated. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.